Good morning, everyone, and thank you for attending the IH Services Inc. virtual job fair event. I would like to introduce you to Merlene. Merlene will tell you about her company, the job openings that they currently have, and how to go about applying for those openings. Merlene, feel free to take things away.
All right, good morning, everyone. Hi, my name is Marlene Horton. I am an account manager representing our company, IH Services. We are a professional cleaning company, and we're contracted with Amazon. So what we do, just to give you a quick overview of what we do, we just basically do the basic cleaning of Amazon warehouses. We have two positions we're hiring for. There's a general cleaning position, and then there's also a trash corrugate position that we're hiring for. The general cleaning position is basically just standard cleaning of bathrooms, break rooms, offices, and things of that nature. And the trash corrugate position is a position that's everything that entails trash. You go around the warehouse pulling trash from trash cans, and you are also removing gaylords and things like that is filled with trash and filled with empty cardboard. I also have my assistant here, Damon, who is very instrumental in our hiring process, and he also helps with the onboarding and the application processes. Go ahead, Damon.
Yeah, so mainly, like Marlene said, this job is basically, it's a very easy job, right? It's general cleaning, sanitizing, and maintenance of the warehouse facilities that Amazon has. Most of these jobs, all of our jobs are 12-hour shifts, 3 12-hour shifts, 1 6-hour shift, so that makes up 40 hours a week. It's a A, B, C, and D shift, which is the first half of the week, morning and nights, and second half of the week, mornings and nights. And the two positions that she was talking about, the general cleaner and the trash corrugate position.
We also offer part-time positions as well.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, thank you both for that information. I think what we'll go ahead and do now is just kind of pivot into the Q&A portion of the event. If you don't have any other information that you'd like to share with the job seekers on the line. Again, if you are a job seeker on the line, I see a few folks in here. If you do have any questions for the team over at IH Services, feel free to enter those questions into the chat, and we'll go ahead and, of course, direct those questions to them to answer for you. So first question that I do. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry, go ahead. And I just wanted to, there was a couple of things we left out that we wanted to information about the site. So we have weekly pay. We just started that. Actually, we get paid by the week now. We used to do bi-weekly. We also have they are also doing a lot of improvements to our benefits. So we just rolled out a PTO. We're doing PTO now, which you start earning the moment you clock in. We also have an attendance incentive in place, meaning as long as you come to work on time every day and you're doing your job, you earn, if you're on day shift, $1.50 more an hour. If you're on night shift, you earn $2 more an hour.
Excellent. Well, thank you both for that information. And I think, again, we'll go ahead and kind of delve right in here into that Q&A portion of the event. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to throw those into the chat. We'll get those answered for you. So Marlene and folks over there at IH Services, I do have some questions for you. First question that I do have is, how long does your hiring process typically take from the point of submitting an application to folks actually being onboarded?
From the moment the application is put in until the onboarding, so you have to, what we also left out, sorry about this, you also have to pass a background check, and you also have to be able to pass a drug screen. That process, once you get sent the invite email and you sign your consent forms, the quicker you take your drug test will hinder how quick the background clears.
Right.
So it could be up to a week. The longest I've seen was 2 weeks, but the shortest time I've seen literally the next day.
Yeah. So we just had a candidate not too long ago. Once they submitted all the information and did the consent, and she went and took the drug test literally the next day. Once she passed, it was like the next day she was ready to go. So we had people who, they wait and, have hiccups and things with their onboarding process. And like she said, it can take up to 2 weeks, but on average though, no more than about 3 or 4 days on average.
Excellent. Thank you both for that. And then can you give folks just an idea maybe of what the typical hours are that they would expect to work in a week, and if overtime pay is typically provided?
Sure. So typically as a full-time employee with IH, you would work 40 hours a week, which would mean everybody works 3 12-hour shifts and 1 6-hour shift. So everybody has a half day. Everybody's half day is on Wednesday. And so it's a little bit, it's a lot of information, but we have 4 shifts, A, B, C, and D shift. A and C are front half, which is Sunday through Wednesday. Either you work 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. or the opposite, 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. Back half consists of Wednesday through Saturday. Again, that's day and night, 3 12s, 1 6-hour shift. It's probably more understandable when you see it on paper, but again, everybody's half day is on Wednesday, which that is a 6-hour shift, and the other 3 days are 12-hour shifts, and then you are off. Well, technically it's 3.5 days on and 3.5 days off.
Excellent. Well, thank you for that information. And is there any sort of educational requirements that you have for folks to be in any sort of these positions that you covered here today?
Well, the minimum requirement will be just a high school diploma, to be honest with you. Just, you want to make sure people are able to, read labels, because we deal with a lot of chemicals. We have our main goal, the biggest thing that we pride ourselves on is safety, because, working in warehouses and things like that, safety is our number 1 priority. And so that's the main thing that we like to focus on, is keeping everybody safe so everybody can go home safe to their families.
Completely understand. Thank you for that information. And then another question that I'm kind of coming to mind here as well, that I have had on other webinars that I've held, is, are there any sort of like vaccination requirements that folks would need to have before they'd be able to enter any of the facilities that you guys clean?
No, actually, there isn't at all. It's the only thing that we require, again, is as I said, you have to be able to pass that background check and the drug screening, and what else?
Yeah, so basically, everybody, we still are concerned about COVID and things related to that. So because safety is such a big issue, if people still want to wear masks, they're allowed to do that. We don't really, we're really not up under the 6-foot rule anymore, but keeping your distance and washing your hands and those things are still standard practices. But as far as the vaccination right now, it's not that's not one of our requirements right now.
The only we do require safety shoe, steel toe shoes or composite, just off because of us working in the warehouse.
Awesome. Thank you for that information. And the next question that I do have for you is, how can applicants go about getting their questions answered?
Okay, so we have an affiliation with Indeed, and that's basically how we do the application process, is that you'd apply on Indeed. We have admins for our district that I particularly for my site have an admin that deals with that goes on Indeed and checks the applications and makes the calls and everything. The second alternative to the hiring processes. We can just, via phone. And so, we talk to the candidate over the phone, send them the link and the welcoming link. And that's another way that it can be done.
Yeah, so Marlene and I, we have a work number that candidates are free to call at any given time. I don't know if it was posted on the site or not, but yeah,
Yes.
a lot of what we do is as far as talking to candidates is direct. They can call the number directly. They can get in touch with me or her. Yeah, they can get in touch with me or her directly, and we'll answer all the questions they need to answer. And if they're a viable candidate, I mean, we can start the process right then and there over the phone.
Awesome information. Thank you for that, guys. The next question that I do have for you here, are there any sort of application, maybe tips, tricks, pointers that you'd like to share with folks to help them stand out and get to that interview phase with you folks, make sure that they have a chance of you reaching out to them?
You know what? Here's the thing. There's really no tips or tricks. So cleaning of the Amazon warehouses, we like to say is an important job, right? So keeping things clean, sanitizing, especially given what we just went through, is very important, especially because Amazon is such a big company, and nowadays a lot of people are relying upon those services, right? And so when during the phone conversations that we have with people, some of the questions that we ask and answer, it's almost a straightforward process. We don't typically beat around the bush. There's not a whole lot of like formal application processes that they have to go through. It literally, it can be give us a call and we can start almost immediately. We have a team right now, probably of about 20 to 25 people. I want to say most of those people that they worked out real well for us were hired in the same day that we had conversations with them. So it's really just about people reaching out to us and letting us have that conversation.
Awesome. Thank you both for that information. And the next question that I do have is actually based off something I heard y'all say in passing. So as far as clothing allowances, is there anything that y'all provide as far as, uniforms, maybe boots, anything that might be necessary for them to, be able to do their job?
Yeah, so I think we do have a program like she said earlier. So we have to have either steel toe boots or composite shoes. But I do think we are running a program, or Amazon is helping us with a program under which a portion of that money is returned.
Yes. So we provide all of the PPE for all of our employees, and we make sure that each employee has safety goggles, gloves, every single thing that you would need to safely clean and do your job. We have that on a daily basis for our employees. We also reimburse our employees up to $35 on this on the amount they spend on their safety shoes as well.
Excellent. Thank you for kind of clarifying that policy that y'all have going right now. Taking a look here as well, just another question that I want to ask before we kind of maybe start our wrap up here. And actually, that reminds me of something as well. Again, for the folks tuning in, if you do have any questions, feel free to use this opportunity to enter them into the chat. You've got an opportunity, of course, right now to get those answered while you have these folks online. Last question that I do have for you folks. I'm not sure, how extensive your training period might be or not, but do you pay folks for the time that they're actually being trained? And then if there's any sort of continuing classes, education, anything like that that has to take place, maybe for working at Amazon or anything of that nature, do you all cover those types of costs as well?
Absolutely. So the moment you are onboarded and get your orientation date, that time is paid. That orientation time is paid time. That's about it can take up to 4 hours in orientation. Also, your training, depending on which position you are hired for, is usually about depending on how fast you catch on, it can be up to a week of being able to of being trained. And again, that's paid time. You will be officially an employee of IH, so you of course will be getting paid for your training time. I'm sorry, I forgot the second part of that question. Can you do you remember?
Yeah, I just wasn't sure if there was any sort of like continuing education costs, anything like that,
Yes.
that
Oh,
maybe Amazon would require, their employees or the folks working at their facilities to take.
yes. Okay. So because we're contracted with Amazon, I know Amazon does help their employees with with costs of going to school and things like that, but that's not with the contracted. That's not in our contract. So, but what we do on a daily basis, we have a daily safety meeting, and then we have a bi-weekly safety meeting where we're constantly pumping our information, safety information, and safe ways to do the job throughout the site, and to the employees, and sharing that information with them so that we go throughout each and every day safely. And as I said, so no one, because we deal with a lot of chemicals, we drive floor cleaning machines, we drive forklifts and things like that. So there's always safety information and little classes that we're having, and meetings that we're having, even on a daily basis, to keep everybody on their toes and everybody safe.
Excellent. And then the last question that I do have for you guys, I know you talked about having to, undergo a background check to, as a condition for an offer of employment. Another question I like to ask all of our employers is, do you consider your organization to be a second chance employer, maybe for people that have minor misdemeanors or small infractions? Would those folks be excluded from potential opportunities with your organization?
Okay, so we have just recently switched over to a new background checking company, and with us being contracted with Amazon, they now require us to use the same background checking company that they use for their employees. And so what I've seen in these 6 years is that this particular background checking company is a little bit more strict than the other ones that we were using in the other one that we used in the past. But Amazon is a second chance company. The things that I've seen that are frowned upon in people's background is anything having to do with theft or violence. And from what we're told, they only go back 7 years. But if there's anything theft related or anything violent, they're not gonna give you the opportunity and extend the employment. That I know for a fact. What I also know, I just had an employee yesterday who had a minor misdemeanor conviction that was 18 years ago. It did come up flagged, but we do have a process that we put in that you can dispute, because this is technology, and things happen, all the discrepancies happen all the time. And so she disputed that, and they did their investigation, and she came back cleared. So I guess the short answer is yes, they do give second chances with misdemeanor offenses, not felonies. I really doubt on the felony side, only if it's past the 7 years, I think, and as long as it's not violent and as long as it's not theft.
Understood. Thank you both for clarifying that as well. So while we are finishing up here, I just want to make sure that if there are any last minute questions that you have for the folks over at IH Services, feel free to enter them into the chat, and I will make sure to get them answered for you. It looks like we did get a question here. This individual asks, are there any virtual customer service jobs available?
No, not for this. This is a direct. Yeah, you have to come to the site, and we need people on site for these positions that we're hiring for.
Excellent. Thank you for that.
We do also, and if I can add, we do hire people with disabilities and people who have trouble with gaining employment because of certain limitations. We do extend offers of employment to people who again, like I said, has disabilities and things like that, depending on the disability and what they're able to do and not do.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that as well. And I want to go ahead here again and also just remind folks, if you have any last minute questions, feel free to enter those in the chat. And of course, I'll pose them to our presenters here today. While we're waiting for those last minute questions to come in, I do want to go ahead and give you an opportunity to kind of give a concluding statement or wrap up or takeaway for folks from your session here today, if you want to go ahead and do so now.
All right, so here's the thing. IH Services is a great company to work for. We do have positions opening up. There is chance for advancement. The company is making strides as far as wage increases, incentive programs, health programs. Like, the company is constantly evolving. And so for those people who get involved early, they'll be part of that evolution of our company. But the main thing is this: we hit on safety a lot. So, for those people who attend and come work for us, eventually will come work for us, they have to know that safety is a priority. They have to know that the job is not a complicated job. It's a very easy job. And we pride ourselves on being able to keep these facilities running. We are the backbone. A lot of people don't see it, but we are the backbone of these warehouses like that. And
also, just to piggyback off of what Damon is saying, I just would like to add that I started in this company as a cleaner back in 2017, and I moved up so fast. And it's not just about it. I know that people understand that in order to be promoted in a company, of course, it's all dependent upon mostly you and your work ethic and how dedicated you are to getting the job done and doing things that within the company. I started as a cleaner, as a general cleaner in this company, and I was promoted to manager in a really short time. I've been a manager for a little over a year now. So it took me about 2.5 years. I was promoted. I went up the chain from cleaner to supervisor to site manager. And it was a pretty smooth transition, and it happened pretty fast. And there's so many opportunities for promotion in this company. It's really baffling when you get into the company and see how easy it is to move up, basically. And it's because we need really good people in our leadership, and really good people who can lead and who have fresh new ideas to help the company to make their strides in evolving. So again, there's a really great opportunity to move up and start a career in this company.
Excellent. Thank you for that information, both of you. Much appreciated. Looks like we did get another individual that hopped on the line here as well. So I just do want to reiterate, if you have any questions for our presenters today, feel free to use that chat feature that you have in your Zoom toolbar to enter any questions that you have, and we'll go ahead and pose them directly to our presenters here today. We'll go ahead and wait for just a few more seconds for folks to ask any questions that they might have. I'll go ahead and cover a few post-event items here as well before we kind of begin our wrap up here today. Something to keep in mind here, the session has been recorded, so if you did join late for whatever reason, we will be posting it to the Illinois WorkNet YouTube channel within 48 hours of the conclusion of this event, so you will be able to view everything that the folks over at IH Services covered here today. So not to fret or worry, you will be able to see that at that location. Additionally, if you registered for the event today, I will be forwarding that registration information on to the folks at IH Services as well. So they will have your contact information, and I'm sure they will be reaching out to you with next steps. To the folks over at IH Services, it was a pleasure having you on today. Of course, we appreciate you taking time out of your day to meet with us. And of course, we hope that you are able to land some new recruits from your session. And I, again, will be forwarding the information on from the registration over to you to do follow-ups. Thank you so much for joining us today. Much appreciated.
And
Thank you, Daniel.
thank you, Daniel, very much. And thank everyone who registered and came into the job fair today. I appreciate you guys. And hopefully we can get some people to come on and be a part of our team.
Absolutely. And again, I just want to give a last call here. If you have any questions for the team, feel free to throw those into the chat. I'll give it just another few seconds here before we wrap up the session. Excellent. Well, we'll go ahead and close things out here today. Thank you, everybody, for attending. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care,
All
everybody.
right.
You too.
Thank you.
Bye for now. That was pretty dope.